If you have ever walked through the noisy compound of a Nigerian secondary school, you will understand what I mean when I say that love can start in the simplest way. It was not a movie scene. It was not a fairy tale. It was just one afternoon, the sun high in the sky, the sound of students shouting and laughing everywhere. That was the day Ada first noticed Chike. Ada was only 13, a small JSS 3 girl, thin, dark-skinned, always with her school bag hanging too low. Chike was 4 years older, SS2, tall for his age, with bright, curious eyes. He wasn't the type every girl in school chased. He was quiet, serious, sometimes playful, but mostly thoughtful. Maybe that was what drew Ada to him, the way he seemed different from the noisy boys around him. It started with small greetings. "Good morning, Senor," Ada would say shyly whenever she saw him. Chike would smile, showing his white teeth, and reply, "Morning, Ada." Some days, when Ada was carrying a heavy bucket of water from the well, Chike would appear and help her lift it. Other days, when he was rushing to class, Ada would run after him asking silly questions. Slowly, without even knowing it, a friendship grew. It was not love yet, at least not the kind of love adults talk about. It was innocent, pure, like two children holding on to something special without understanding why. But life in Nigeria is not always kind to young love. After secondary school, families move, struggles change, and people get separated. That was what happened to them. Chike left after Wike. Ada remained. No phones, no Facebook, no WhatsApp, just memories. Ada would sometimes sit by her window at night, thinking of the tall senior who carried her bucket. Chike, in another town, preparing for jam, would remember the little girl who always ran after him. Both held on to the sweetness, but time carried them apart like dry leaves in the wind. Years passed. Ada grew into a beautiful young woman. She got admission to the university, excited to finally live her dream. Life was not easy for her family. Her father was a retired teacher, her mother a petty trader. But Ada had hope. She believed education would open doors. One sunny afternoon, Ada was walking across campus, her books pressed tightly against her chest. She had been rushing for a lecture when she suddenly froze. She saw a face, a familiar face. Her heart jumped inside her chest. Could it be? "Chike," she whispered, almost afraid. Then louder, "Chike!" The young man turned. At first, he looked confused, as if his mind was far away. Then recognition lit his eyes. "Ada," he said in surprise. "Yes, it's me." Before she knew it, he had wrapped his arms around her, hugging her tight, laughing in disbelief. "Ah, Ada, you have grown, oh? C-U-O? I can't believe this." Ada could not stop smiling. "I thought I'd never see you again." From that day, something sparked. It was not like before. This time, they were no longer children. They were older, wiser, and the bond was stronger. They exchanged numbers immediately, and from that moment, they were inseparable. Morning texts, late-night calls, long walks across campus. It was as if the years apart never happened. They laughed like best friends. They dreamed like lovers. They leaned on each other like family. But love, true love, is never without its tests. Chike was not from a wealthy home. His father had died early, leaving him the responsibility of caring for his younger siblings. Whatever little money he got from part-time jobs, he sent home. Many times he had to skip meals so that his brothers and sisters could eat. Yet no matter how hard things got, he always found a way to make Ada smile. Sometimes he would surprise her with roasted corn and pear, other times with groundnuts and pure water. To Ada, it wasn't the size of the gift, it was the love behind it. She adored him for it. Ada herself was not rich either. Her mother sold vegetables in the market, struggling to keep the family afloat. But Ada never complained. When she was with Chike, it felt like all the troubles of the world melted away. Many boys on campus admired her beauty, tried to woo her with money and flashy cars. But Ada always shook her head. "I already have a man," she would say with a proud smile. They had a favorite spot under a big mango tree behind the library. That tree became their world. It was where they sat to eat snacks, share secrets, and dream about the future. Chike would talk about building a big house one day where his mother would never lack again. Ada would talk about becoming a teacher, touching lives like her father once did. Sometimes they sat in silence, holding hands, listening to the rustling of the leaves above. Those moments were golden. 4 years flew by. Graduation day arrived like a dream. The campus was filled with shouts, laughter, music, white shirts covered with signatures. Chike and Ada wrote their names on each other's shirts, drew hearts, laughed until tears rolled down their faces. They danced, took pictures, held each other tightly. They had done it. Together. Both graduated with good grades. That evening, as the sun dipped behind the campus gates, Ada whispered, "Chike, nothing can stop us now." Chike smiled, his heart swelling with pride and love. "Nothing, Ada, nothing." But fate was listening. And fate had other plans. The next step was NYSC. Everyone was anxious, praying for good postings. When the letters came, Ada and Chike tore them open with excitement. Their faces fell. They had been posted to different states, far away from each other. It hurt, but they promised to make it work. And indeed, they did. From morning devotion in camp to lights out at night, they talked every day. They sent each other pictures, made late-night video calls, and encouraged each other when the stress of camp was too much. Ada's friends envied her. "Ah, your boyfriend is so caring," they would say. Ada would blush, knowing it was true. Even though Chike did not have much, he sacrificed. He even rented a small room close to Ada's camp so that she would be comfortable whenever she needed a break. It was not easy. He had to borrow, he had to hustle, but to him, Ada was worth it. She was his everything. And for a time, Ada believed the same. But sometimes, life whispers temptations that love alone cannot silence. And soon, the crack began to show. Love is sweet. But sometimes life throws stones at love, and what once looked unbreakable can begin to crack. That was the story of Ada and Chike. At first, everything seemed perfect. Though they were posted to different states for NYSC, they made their long-distance love work. Their daily calls were like medicine to each other's hearts. Sometimes Ada would laugh so hard on the phone that her roommates would tease her. "Now only this your Chike, they make you happy like this." She would blush and reply, "Yes, so he's my everything." Chike on his part was faithful. He worked part-time, tutoring children, riding Okada on weekends, anything to make some money. But no matter how little he had, he always saved something for Ada. Sometimes it was just small provisions, milk, bread, gari, that he sent down to her. Other times, it was his presence that mattered more. He even rented a tiny one-room apartment close to her camp, just so he could be there whenever she needed him. That decision cost him almost all his savings, but he did it without complaint. To him, Ada was worth every sacrifice. And Ada knew it.
She would often cry on the phone saying, "Chike, I don't deserve you. You do too much for me." He would laugh gently and reply, "Ada, stop that. If you're happy, I'm happy. That's enough for me." But happiness is a fragile thing. Sometimes, even when love is strong, the weight of the world presses down until cracks appear. It started with small changes. One evening, Chike called for a video chat. Normally, Ada would pick with a wide smile, showing him her face without hesitation. But this time, she refused. "I can't do video today," she said quickly. "Why?" Chike asked, his heart tightening. "I'm tired," she replied, her voice nervous. It happened again the next day. Then again. Chike's mind grew restless. Something was wrong. He tried to push the thought away, telling himself maybe she was stressed, maybe she just wanted some space, but his heart refused to rest. So one night, Chike made a decision. He would not wait for answers over the phone. He would go and see her. He did not tell her. He wanted to surprise her, maybe even prove his fears wrong. He left home at 4 a.m., the road still dark, harmattan breeze cold against his face. His body was tired, but his heart was strong. By 7 a.m., he was at her apartment. He smiled as he walked down the narrow street. He was imagining her shocked face when she would see him at the door. He was imagining her running into his arms. But what he found was not what he imagined. As he reached the door, he heard sounds. At first, he thought she was in trouble. Voices, movement, then laughter, and then a man's voice. Not just any man's voice, a deep, confident voice, the kind of voice that carried power. Chike froze. His heart began to beat wildly. Then he heard Ada's voice, soft, playful, calling another man's name.
The world around him went silent. The laughter of children on the street, the noise of a passing Chike na pep, even the sound of his own breathing, all disappeared. All that remained was that voice, her voice, with another man. His legs weakened, his throat went dry. He leaned against the wall, his chest burning. He wanted to scream, to bang the door, to drag her out and ask why. But he could not move. He could only stand there, broken, as time crawled painfully. Around 9 a.m., the door opened. A tall, handsome man stepped out, wearing fine clothes, wristwatch shining, car keys in hand. He looked rich, important, the very opposite of Chike's struggling self. Ada followed him, smiling brightly, her hair neatly done, her eyes full of light. Chike stepped forward. Ada's smile vanished the moment she saw him. Shock filled her face. "Chike?" she whispered. The tall man looked at Chike from head to toe, disgust on his face. "Who is this wretched guy?" he asked sharply. Chike waited for Ada's answer. His eyes begged her to speak the truth, to defend him, to say, "This is my man." Just one sentence could save his heart. But Ada looked at the ground and said quietly, "He's just a friend." Those 4 words cut deeper than a knife. Chike felt his whole body collapse inside. Just a friend? After everything? After years of love, sacrifice, and dreams under the mango tree? Tears stung his eyes, but he refused to let them fall. Without a word, he turned and walked away. Each step felt like fire burning his chest. Behind him, he heard the rich man laugh. He heard a car door slam. He heard Ada's trembling voice, but he did not turn back. For days, he could not eat, he could not sleep. He stared at his phone, seeing her calls, reading her messages, but refusing to reply. His friends noticed the change, But he told no one. Pain lived inside him like a heavy stone. Ada came begging. She called again and again. She sent messages. Chike, please forgive me. It's not what you think. I was forced. My parents said I must accept him because of his family's money. But I swear I still love you. I still want you. Please don't leave me. But Chike could not forgive. He wanted to believe her, but every time he closed his eyes, he saw her smiling at that man. He heard her voice saying, "Just a friend." The wound was too deep. The trust was gone. And without trust, love cannot stand. So he blocked her number. He blocked her on WhatsApp. He shut the door to his heart, leaving her outside in the cold. Time passed. Months turned into years. Ada eventually stopped begging. Life went on. Chike focused on survival, though his heart was never the same. Ada continued with her rich suitor, but fate was not done with them. One evening, many years later, Chike's phone buzzed. It was a strange message from Ada. He almost ignored it, but something in him forced him to open it. The words made his heart stop. "I'm getting married tomorrow. If you want to stop it, please show up." Chike sat in silence, the phone shaking in his hand. His heart was confused. Should he go? Should he fight for her one last time? Or should he stay away, protect himself from more pain? He lay awake all night, staring at the ceiling, battling with his thoughts. The next morning, Ada waited. Dressed in white, her makeup shining, her heart racing, she looked at the church entrance again and again. She prayed, she hoped, she begged inside herself. "Chike, please come. Please fight for me. Please don't let me go like this." But Chike never came. The ceremony went on. She smiled for the cameras, she exchanged vows, she danced with her new husband. But deep inside, her heart was broken, empty, incomplete.
The wedding was over. Ada became another man's wife. On the outside, she looked happy. Her husband's money bought her fine clothes, trips to Abuja, new phones, and all the comfort her parents had always dreamed of. But inside her heart, there was a hole. Every night, when the house grew quiet, she would lie awake and think of Chike. She would remember his laughter under the mango tree, the way he held her hand as if it was the most precious thing in the world, the sacrifices he made when he had nothing. She would remember the pain in his eyes that day outside her apartment when she called him just a friend. Those memories never left her. Her husband was kind at times, but he was not Chike. He could buy her anything, but he could not give her the pure love she once had. Ada carried this burden silently, smiling in public but weeping in secret. She told herself she had no choice. Life had moved on, and Chike was gone from her world. Or so she thought. 1 year later, on a Saturday afternoon, Ada went to visit her aunt in another part of town. On her way back, she took a shortcut through an old cemetery. It was quiet there, with tall grass growing between the graves. Some headstones were clean and decorated with flowers. Others were broken, forgotten, covered with dust. Ada was not afraid. She had passed there many times before. But that day, something strange happened. As she walked, her eyes caught sight of an unkempt grave in the corner. The name on the simple stone made her feet freeze. Her heart stopped. She read the name again, her voice trembling. "No, no, it can't be."
Chike? Her hands shook. She stepped closer. The letters were clear. Chike Okechuku. Ada dropped to her knees, her body weak. Tears filled her eyes, blinding her vision. She touched the cold stone with shaking fingers, hoping it was a dream. But it was real. Her Chike, her first love, her true love, was gone. She began to sob, her voice echoing in the silent graveyard. Chike, no, no, not you. Why didn't anyone tell me? Why didn't I know? Her heart pounded as she looked at the date on the stone. It was carved clearly, the very same day she got married. Ada's breath caught in her throat. She screamed. The truth slammed into her like thunder. Chike had died on her wedding day. But how? Why? Her tears flowed uncontrollably as she remembered the message he had received. If you want to stop it, please show up. She realized the unthinkable. Chike had tried. He wanted to come. He rushed to see her, to fight for her, to stop her wedding. But fate was cruel. She later learned the truth from an old neighbor who had known Chike. That morning, he had borrowed a motorcycle from a friend, determined to reach her before the vows were said. He rode fast, too fast, his heart full of hope, his eyes blind to danger. On the highway, a truck swerved suddenly. The motorcycle skidded. Chike's body hit the ground hard. By the time help arrived, it was too late. While Ada was walking down the church aisle in white, Chike was lying on the cold tar of the road, his life bleeding away. Two worlds happening at the same time, one filled with music and celebration, the other with silence and death. When Ada heard this, she collapsed on the ground, her body shaking. She cried until her voice broke. Her chest hurt as if knives were stabbing her. She pressed her forehead against the gravestone and whispered, Chike, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I loved you. I still love you. I should have fought harder for us. I should never have betrayed you. You died because of me. Forgive me, please. Her tears soaked the earth. Birds flew from the nearby trees, startled by her cries.
In that moment, Ada realized the greatest truth of her life. True love is rare, and she had lost hers forever. She had traded it for comfort, for money, for her parents' approval, and now it was too late. After that day, Ada changed. She still lived with her husband, but she was never the same. She stopped smiling as much. She became quieter, withdrawn, carrying an invisible sorrow everywhere she went. Sometimes she would secretly return to the cemetery, bringing flowers, sitting by Chike's grave for hours, talking to him as if he was still alive. Her husband never understood why his wife's eyes often looked far away, as if her heart belonged to another place. He never knew that the ghost of a young man lived inside her, haunting her every thought. Years passed, but Ada never healed. She had children, yes, but deep inside, her soul carried a wound that never closed. Whenever she saw young lovers walking hand in hand, she would smile sadly and whisper under her breath, "Hold on to it. Don't lose it. Don't take it for granted." Because she knew what it felt like to lose it. She knew the pain of calling the one you love just a friend when he was much more. She knew the agony of waiting at the altar, hoping he would come, not knowing he was lying on the road, fighting for life. She knew the torment of finding his name on a cold gravestone, realizing he had died rushing to see her. Ada lived with that truth until her old age. True love is a gift you should never waste, never betray, never take lightly.
The story of Ada and Chike spread quietly among her children and grandchildren, passed down like a warning. And whenever people told it, they always ended with the same lesson. Love is not about money. Love is not about status. It is about sacrifice, trust, and faithfulness. If you are lucky enough to find true love, hold it tight, because once it is gone, you may never find it again. And somewhere, under the silent trees of that old cemetery, the grave of Chike still lies. The grass may grow tall, the stone may gather dust, but his story continues to live. A story of a boy who loved deeply, gave everything, and died on the road trying to reach the girl he could never stop loving. And the girl? She lived the rest of her days carrying the weight of that love, forever marked by the grave she stumbled upon one quiet afternoon. Thanks for watching. If you want more powerful African folktales like this, subscribe now, like this video, and share it with friends who love great stories. Also tell us where you